well-known local broadcaster and podcaster, and of course now famous for his special sauce. Joshua Witty is donating this evening to raise funds for our Rotary Foundation. We now ask Past President Polly to moderate a brief discussion this evening with President Arezzo and 3 youth exchange students. Polly, come on up, buddy.
All right.
All right, Polly!
Hey, dove sono gli italiani? Gli italiani? Forza chi? Forza Juventus, no? No? Sì? Forza, tu Francesco, Forza Padova, Venezia? Chi tifi?
Forza Roma.
Forza Roma, mi! You guys understand Mingan? Let me start over. All right, my wife said Frank up there, said stick to the script. This is a serious guy. I remember it like it was yesterday. I flew from Cleveland to DC, DC to Milan, Milan to Cagliari. Then I got in a car 4 hours through the mountains of Sardinia to this little house where my Rotarian host parents were waiting for me. It was dinner time. I thought for 18 months about this dinner. I was going to Italy. This is pizza, pasta, tiramisu. That was good tiramisu. I was so excited for this dinner that I literally, a year and a half I thought about this dinner. We get there, true story. My host mother has prepared steak and a baked potato. This is wonderful. It's wonderful, but it's what my mom made 2 nights ago to wake me from. But that's Italy, right? That's hospitality. They wanted me to feel at home. That year, it did something to me. It changed me as a person. I am different forever because of it. I became not only tolerant, but welcoming of other cultures. Different as we may be, we are actually all the same. I think the biggest thing I learned that we're just people. We love our families. We work hard to provide for our families. And that's just every culture, every country, that's just what everyone is doing. These young people are in the middle of what will be one of the most transformative years of their lives. And we're here today to learn from them. So let me introduce real quick. Let me start with Maria Police from Brazil. Maria! Maria's in the Canandaigua Club. She's been very involved in theater, has made a lot of friends, been very active at school, the community, and in her club. We also have Bruna Tenet. Bruna! Home of Zinedine Zidane. She's in the Bloomfield Club. She's been very involved at school, involved in many sports, especially track. She's traveled a lot, New York City, Hawaii. I heard you surfed. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yes? A lot of us haven't been to Hawaii. You got a lot of us beat. That's pretty cool. And we have Neva Gibson. Neva is an outbound. So Neva is from Cohocton, right? Wayland, just like I said. And you're going to Germany next year. I gotta brag about this girl for a second. She is going to graduate from high school with enough credits to already have an associate's degree. She's already basically fluent in German. Didn't you take some test and you were like 1 level below fluent or something?
No.
All right, let's get into this. Okay, I would like to ask a question. I also think we need to learn, as Rotarians, about the procedure of being an exchange student. For me, they came to school, and it was either go to 7th period or go to an assembly where a Rotarian was talking about becoming an exchange student. And so my journey started by skipping class. How did your journey start? We might as well just go in order. How did you hear about the program, and how has getting enrolled been for you?
Okay, so for me, one of my best friends, she hosted a girl, ironically enough, from Germany about 2 years ago. She wasn't through Rotary, so that sparked my interest initially. But then last year, one of my really close friends, Eliza Almakinder, she went through Rotary and she went to Brazil for a year. So she was updating me all the time about all the fun experiences she was having, the highs and the lows, and that was really what got me into the program. This summer I was at work one day and one of my friends from Naples said that she was filling out the application. So I was like, okay, I can do this. So I called up Pam and I was asking her some questions. She sent me the link, I filled it out. That took a couple hours, I'd say. And then we met back in around November, roughly, to have our overnight interview process, which was a lot of fun. It was a little intimidating at first. We walked in this room with a bunch of different tables, and there was 3 Rotarians at each, country officers as well, and we were getting drilled with some intimidating questions, but it was a lot of fun. And then after that, we did a bunch of games, heard from past Rotex members about each individual country, and really just got to get to know each other. It was a lot of fun.
How about you, Maria?
Well, basically, in my school, they decided to create like their own Interact, and my best friend joined. And like a few months later, she asked me like, "Wouldn't you be interested?" And I was like, "Okay, sure." So I went to a meeting, and I was like, "Oh, that's actually really nice, like helping the community." So I decided to join without knowing anything about the exchange. So during one of our meetings, they mentioned like, "Hey guys, if you're interested in an exchange, like the program is offering to do that." And I was like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna talk to my family about it. Like, why not?" I was always really interested in doing exchange, especially in America. So after a lot of talking with like my own Rotary, I ended up getting here. Like, it was a lot of hard work, filling paperwork, doing interviews, tasks. Basically, like my grades, they really matter. My English level, so after a lot of work and prepare like me and my family, because it's also like really hard for your family, not only like for the exchange student. I finally got here, so yeah.
Okay, so like the sister of my best friend went to Mexico 2 years ago, and I heard about Rotary, and I was like, oh, it's one of my biggest dreams like ever. So I should go, but I was kind of like too young, so I just waited 2 years. And so the dad of this girl like was like a Rotary district officer kind of, and so I was like, perfect. And so I just did like all of the paper with him. He was like, you should go. And it was like, okay, as you know, I wanted to go like in the United States, and it was like, as you know, it's like one of the hardest like country to have. And I was like, yeah, but I really want to go to the US. And I don't know how was it for you, but like we don't choose like our country. And so all of like my other French exchange students, we opened like a letter with our country. And I cried when I say like the United States. I was like, how is it possible? And so I'm here.
Francesco, why are braces so expensive? I was going off topic. I'm sorry. That's for later. So one thing, in all seriousness, I was asked by Pam. Pam asked, she runs our, if anybody doesn't know, runs the District Youth Exchange. We need 4 or 5 more clubs to step up as host clubs for next year. There are kids, as you mentioned, trying to come to the United States who literally won't be able to come if we don't have some clubs step up. So if you're interested in stepping up, please let somebody know. Are you the person to let know? Let her know. You can let me know too if you want. Hey, Francesco, the real question is, what do you think of the process right now, for whatever you know about it? What do you think of the process? What are we doing right? What could we do better?
The process of what?
Of getting students enrolled. Getting students enrolled and finding host clubs, mostly.
I think that the program of youth exchange in Rotary is one of the most difficult, because everything is difficult when you manage people that are under 18 years, because the responsibility of the labs, of the structure is very high. but is in the same time one of the most beautiful projects. It gives the opportunity to people to live another experience for 1 year in another country that has another language, another culture, another religion, many times also. And it is a bridge toward peace. If you think that every year about 800 people, 800 students go around the world, it is, they are 800 small bridges that we do in this moment that is so difficult in the world. The problems are, there are several problems. For example, in Europe it's difficult to find the families that want to host the students. And very often you are obliged to give the student to a family for all the year, because you don't have other families that want to share the year. But that is a problem of culture. It is a problem of less knowledge of the program. I think that slowly it will change. I was one of those family. I had a girl from Ponte Vedra Beach in Florida. And we had Alexandra for 1 year. It is difficult to have a student for more than 4 or 5 months, because after that period they become like your daughter, that you cannot support them, because they become difficult. But it is a great experience. It is a great experience. And I have to say that 3 years ago, Alexandra came back to visit us in Sicily with her son of 2 years. And that was a very moving moment, because you understand that you have another daughter around the world. That is so beautiful. But it is true. To manage the families sometimes is more difficult than to manage the students.
Maria and Bruno, I'm going to ask you a question about the most rewarding part of the year so far, but also the most challenging. I'll give you a second to think about it, because I want to stick with you one more time, Francesco. Your daughter went to Florida. She came home. What was the biggest change you saw for the better in your daughter when she returned from her year?
Don't believe to your father or your mother when you go back home. Yes, we were very afraid, and we were very astonished by the change that Raffaella had in 1 year. The part that was a child for us, 16 years, but for us was a baby. And she came back that was not a woman, but was much more. The growing was much more than 1 year. And for us was we were not ready to see that change that was, and we tried in the first time to block her, to stop her, and that was a mistake. Yes, then you have to leave them to go, to grow and to live their life. But for the parents it's not very easy.
Maria and Bruna, I went to some of these dinners when I did this. They never made me sing. God bless you. Maria, let me start with you. Most rewarding and most challenging.
I'm gonna start with challenging because honestly, I think I'm having a really great time, and I wouldn't say that anything like here is challenging. Like, I was really aware that I would miss my family, so it was something that I've been like working, like mentally preparing myself for that for a really long time. The language, I got to like learn English since I was little, so it wasn't such a big problem. But probably like the culture, that honestly like the Brazilian culture and American culture is not extremely different, but there are some differences in like humor. Like me as a teenager, like the way teenagers think and act is really different. So when I'm like in school, someone makes a joke, I'm like, I don't see how this is funny. Or when I make a joke, people are just like, sure. So there are like those moments where I'm like trying to figure it out, how our mind and how our culture and how we were raised is different. So I'm gonna say was the most challenging for me. But thank God I had like a lot of good friends that would like help me to explain like, oh, this is how we think about that. That's how we think about this. So yeah, and most I'm gonna say that for the first question. Okay, I was really shy and really introvert before coming to my exchange. Like it was a big problem for me to like talking with people. Like I was really shy. But during my exchange, I got to do the play in my school. I got to do the musical, so singing and dancing in front of a lot of people, and having to put myself to talk with a lot of people in another language. And right now, I consider myself a really extrovert person. I talk a lot, and yeah, I yell a lot. And I feel way more comfortable being in the position that I am right now. I'm like here talking in English in front of all of you guys, and honestly, I think this is all because of the exchange. So,
Don't be too hard on yourself about teenage humor. We don't understand why 6'7" is funny either. We don't know either, right?
I'm very touched explaining because this was not a big thing in Brazil. So I was like, what is 6'7" guy?
Bruna, how about you? Most rewarding, most challenging?
I'm gonna start also with challenging. So first, being here, like here on the stage, is challenging for me. I really don't like talk like in front of like 300 people. But I think the most challenging thing was at the beginning of the year when I couldn't speak any English, like I mean a little bit, and like people were talking to me, and I was like, yes. They were keeping asking questions. I was like, and they were waiting the answer, and so I'm just like, yes, sure, yeah. So this was like the most challenging for me to just understand and like learn how to speak English. And I know I still make like a lot of mistakes, but I'm trying to improve in my English. And I think it's like Maria. Like I was really quiet and shy at the beginning of my exchange. I was just not like go and talk with a lot of people. And now, like I just met so many people with like Rotary. I met Neva, for example, and all of the other like inbound and outbound, and I'm so proud of because it's like a big thing for me. So yeah.
Neva, just a few months until you leave for Germany, right? What is it that you just cannot wait to sink your teeth into in this next year?
I mean, quite literally, the bread.
That's right.
I know one of my German friends, she says Germany has the best bread, so that. But honestly, just the challenge itself. I feel like for the last 18 years of my life, I've been trying to challenge myself in new ways. My goal has always been, college, best grades, gotta get into college. And I was really thinking this past summer about ways that I can challenge myself without fearing the burnout. because once I get to college, you know, what's next? And so I feel like this experience, just being able to put myself somewhere new. Growing up, I've always been told, I've had this, or my parents have driven this motto into our household: everyone's different and that's okay. Well, granted, I live in Wayland, New York. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with Wayland, but it's not very diverse, it's very rural. And so it's hard to practice that. And I think this experience will give me that opportunity, just to be able to not only learn a new language. You know, I've been learning Spanish for the last few years, but I'm thrilled to learn a new language and hopefully come back technically trilingual, but mostly bilingual. But I think that, and just being able to meet new people and form those really lasting bonds, because I still have relationships with exchange students from the past few years. We still talk, I mean, we try to talk once a week. And I'd love to have that with other people across the globe. I would also love to be able to do my part to help other communities across the globe, because that's been one of my goals here. So if I can make an impact, I mean, no matter how small, that would be great for me. I'd love to live that life of consequence, Hobart William Smith motto, but that'd be my goal. And of course, trying the new food and hopefully skiing. That's the goal. Thank you.
Gotta ask a food question. You brought up food, right?
Yes.
Maria, what have you had here in Rochester, in this area, that you will miss when you go back to Brazil? Food question. I got it.
Like, it have to be a meal.
Well, just one thing that you're like, we don't have that back home. Like for me, when I got to Italy, I wrote my parents after a week. I said, I need Pop-Tarts, I need peanut butter, I need gummy bears, like a bunch of stuff I can find.
Okay, I'm gonna say like really random things. Meatballs. My first host family really loves meatballs, and I was like, this is really good. It's just like a ball of meat. It was like really good. And ice cream. Like we obviously have ice cream in Brazil, and we all obviously have like a lot of different types, but like here there's like a brand of ice cream that is really different, and there's really different flavors, and I just really like the ice cream. But mostly the meatballs. Sorry, mostly random, probably not what you were expecting.
Perfect. That's a perfect answer. Bruno, how about you?
Nothing.
Whoa!
I'm sorry, but like, it's just American food. It's not that good.
She's not that wrong. Like I think everyone like really loves like the home from their own country. So
Yeah. Oh, what do you miss from France then? What's the thing all year that you've been going, I miss it?
Bread.
Her mic's not working, right? Yeah. Well, you could use more. Yeah, use Francesco's. We can't ask him another question about the braces. But Maria, how about you? What do you miss from Brazil?
açaí, pastel, brigadeiro, arroz com feijão.
Yeah.
I mean, I can keep going. Pizza.
Yeah. Have you been to Roux yet? Anyone bring you to Roux on Park Ave? French food. Rochester French food. Someone will bring you. I'll hook you up.
Don't-
Find your people.
I'm good. I got it for you.
Yeah. You know
I'll
what
get
I'm
her.
talking about?
I'll get her there.
Okay. Neva, I know I'm running short on time, so actually let me go to just a question about the future. What do you want to be when you grow up? Let me do this question for everybody. Francesco, we already know. You don't have to answer this one. But ladies, what do you want to be when you grow up, and how do you think this year will inform that?
So I would like to be a clinical psychologist. Ideally, I'd love to use this year, again, to become fluent in German. That way when I come back, I can hopefully expand my clientele to more people. So, yeah.
You're an incredible person. It's unreal. Maria, what do you want to be when you grow up?
I'm still not 100% sure, but I really wanted something more like in the health area. So like maybe a doctor, a surgeon. I also I took psychology as a class while I was here, and now I really consider doing psychology as an option. But I'm not 100% sure about something in the healthy area.
Bruno?
Neurosurgeon.
Yes, good answers. Look who we bring, the Rotarians. When I was in Italy, my answer was work on the radio. Francesca, we want to give you the final word on this. What do you hope for the future for these young ladies? And what do you hope they bring, just the Rotary thing that they bring with them forever?
I am the first international president that was an interactor. I hope for them a long career in Rotary, and who knows, probably here on the stage we have two international presidents. One actual and one future. Who knows?
Ladies and gentlemen, how about one more big round of